Hey, 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 happy day 12. We're going to talk about the P in our soap process today, day 12 of our Get Up and Go challenge. I hope that you have been doing these little activities, these little action items every day right along with me. And that if you are, like me, you're feeling better. You're feeling better because one of our basic human desires. I learned this from Tony Robbins. I don't even know when he started teaching it. I've been following Tony Robbins since the early 80s. Yeah, kind of hard to admit, but that's how old I am, and that's how old Tony Robbins is. And he has been around teaching personal development, teaching personal growth, teaching NLP, teaching all kinds of modalities and methods, and how people can be better, more amazing human beings for decades. And I've been following him about as long as he's been around in the public eye. I think I saw him when I was in the hospital in Valley, Nebraska. I was working in Valley, Nebraska one summer, and I saw him on a late night infomercial because I was stuck in a hospital. Actually, I wasn't in Valley, Nebraska. I was in Omaha, Nebraska. I was working in Valley, Nebraska that summer with my sister during college, and I got some weird, funky, strange illnesses that led to, a lifetime, and back then, several years of just weird, funky health challenges that I have had to deal with over back then especially, but then kind of throughout my life. There's been weird, funky things that have happened. Our lives do that. They pop up and they show us different things, and we have different experiences based on the lessons that I need to learn, and you have your experiences based on the lessons that you need to learn. Well, Tony Robbins helped me learn a lot of lessons, and one of the things that he's always taught that's a basic human need is the need for progress, the need to feel and know that we're moving forward in our lives, that we're becoming and growing and, moving and getting momentum and going. The Get Up and Go in the Get Up and Go challenge name is from the need and the desire that we all have to be moving forward and making progress and moving toward what we want. So often we're not thinking about what we want, and so we're moving toward what we don't want because we're doing that by default. Because guess what? We're always creating, we're always growing, we're always expanding. We're either spiraling up and going toward what we want, or we're spiraling down and going away from what we want, or toward what we don't want. Because toward what we don't want is the same as going away from what we do want. So how do we take action? How do we add progress to our model? We've talked about where we are and where we want to be. We've talked as S for story and situation. We've talked about options and that there's infinite possibilities of what we can do to take us from where we are to where we want to go. And we talked about how to take action as the A, and how do we decide what to do next? How do we always know what to do next? So many people struggle with, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do next. But that's just a lie we tell ourselves. We always know what to do. We always do. We can cover it up, we can pretend we don't, we can act like we don't. Maybe we don't want to do the thing that we know we need to do, but deep down, we always have an inkling and a desire and a knowledge of what to do next. And if we would stop telling ourselves we don't know because we've been brainwashed into believing we're not smart enough to figure our own lives out, we would move forward faster, so much more easily and less stressfully than we do a lot of times, right? So progress. How do I know I'm making progress? And how do I know I'm going in the right direction? Well, I like to do an exercise that I call the lifeline exercise. And I'm going to show you one of mine, and it's embarrassing because I should have started a new one for this challenge, but I didn't. I just pulled out an old lifeline exercise that I've done before, and it's very messy because what I've done with this one is I have made a straight line on a piece of paper. Then I put big highlights, milestones in my life. And you'll do the same thing. You just draw a line on a piece of paper, and then you put the year you were born. I was born in 1960, so the first point on my timeline is I was born in 1960. And then I go to current 2020 at the end, which is the coronavirus, because we're all experiencing the coronavirus. And to me, that is a big enough deal to get put on my lifeline, because that's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. As will most of us. So, and then big things in between. In the 80s, I was bedridden, and so I was sick and bedridden. That goes on my list because that had a huge impact on the direction and trajectory of my life. In the 90s, the mid-90s, I had kidney surgery, eye surgery, my first baby in 91, and my son, and all kinds of other things. So that goes on my timeline. Then my daughter was born in 94. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I had a brain fart there. My daughter was born in 94, so she goes on my timeline. And then I had a sudden cardiac arrest. I dropped dead. So that definitely goes on my timeline, because when you have a huge event like that, and then there's other things on here which may or may not be, and I like to do above the line and below the line. So for me, my timeline at 0, where I'm just pretty much going along, that's the straight line. You can do it however you want. Some people do it all above the line. I go below the line when really bad things happen. When I think things were really negative and really bad, like my sudden cardiac arrest is dead. So dead is as far below the line as I could pretty much go on this piece of paper. Then I've got my divorce on here. What else have I got in here? I need my magnifying glass. I've got my divorce on here. I've got moving to online on here. I've got a couple of my other businesses on here, but not so much. And each of the different colors represents physical. Remember our 7 key areas of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, of course, relationships, of course, and contribution. All of those are represented by my keys. And each of these colors is a different area, because I've done this lifeline exercise before. Actually, I just pulled this out this year in 2020. I think it's been years since I've done it. I can't remember exactly how many years, because most of my stuff is still packed up as part of my move. But it's a great exercise, and we're not looking for absolutes. It's subjective. It's all based on your opinion of it when you do this. And I usually date it. I didn't date this one, but it's all from 2020. And it's what we're looking for, as you can see, is the trend. Is my life, do I feel like my life is going up? Trending up means it's going in the direction I want it to go. And as you can see by the up and down roller coaster nature of my graph, sometimes things go up and down, right? And an event like my sudden cardiac arrest, which you might think would tank me emotionally, actually ends up above the line because of the benefits I got from that event happening. That was a dead stop in my life that actually allowed me to give myself permission to take back my life and change the trajectory of my life. So even things that are below the line, and actually the secret is, for me, at least in my experience, that the things that are most painful, that are below the line, that have caused me the most turmoil and trauma and pain on different levels of my existence, in those 7 key areas, those are the things that turn out being the turning points and the actually looking back, because hindsight's always 20/20, the best things that ever happened. So I highly recommend that you do this lifeline exercise, and do it for whatever area of your life you're working on right now. Like, I'm going to do a new one today about my physical health, my physical well-being, because that's the one I'm working on, my left knee. Now, I did, just as a progress and a discussion about results, because progress is all about the results we get. Results, guess what? Like anything else, they're neither good or bad. They're either moving us toward what we want, which is positive in my mind, or moving us away from what we want, which is negative. And if they're neutral, it's kind of hard to decide, because we really don't know if they're positive or negative. Maybe we need to try it again. So one thing I did for my action item yesterday was I tried this CBD oil, and I should have brought the container downstairs with me, but it's up in the bathroom, so I didn't. CBD oil, I tried it. I used it twice yesterday, and I will admit it helped. It did really help. I really felt and got pain relief for about 20 minutes, and then it was like nothing. It was right back to where it was. So you can use it up to 4 times a day. So going forward, I'm going to try it today 4 times today and see if that makes a big difference. And then I'm going to give it a bit longer try before I decide if it's something that I'm going to add as a process, as a regular thing that I add to my life. Because part of what helps us make progress on autopilot is if we create processes and systems and we automate them by making them a habit, by delegating them to someone else and making sure they get done, or by making it a habit and something that we do routinely for ourselves, and then auditing and checking in with ourselves on some frequency to see if it's still working. So I don't think one day is enough to make any decisions whether I'm going to automate or keep doing that or not. But I do know that I need to keep moving forward, which is how we do everything, how we make progress. Yesterday, I got about 40 minutes of relief from it. So maybe today I'll get at least 120 minutes of relief from it. That's 2 full hours, right? That's pretty awesome. To be able to get back 2 hours pain-free in my day, I'm all in. So I will, and I'm committing as my action item today to share the one thing that I'm going to systematize. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make it an everyday thing, but I know that it's at least worth a longer trial, a longer test, a longer experiment on myself to find out if it's going to work or not. So today, I'd love if you do the lifeline exercise. At least get out a piece of paper and draw a line on it and put, you know, a half a dozen or a dozen big key milestones in your life on it. And then for me, physically, I'm going to go through physically and say, all right, overall physically, how has my life been? And I invite you to do the same. It's like I said, it's an exercise or a tool that I've been using for decades. Whether I use it frequently or not, it's still extremely powerful. And anything that's powerful, I want to share with you so that you have that in your toolbox as well. That's it for our P for progress today. Love to know if you have any questions about this. I'd like to do a Q&A on the soap process if that's of benefit to you. So if it is, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, we will just keep moving on with our 30-day Get Up and Go challenge. Get up and go today, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with a surprise. Who knows what we're going to do tomorrow. Take care. Bye.